In a world that screams at you to buy more, own more, and be more, there's a quiet revolution gaining momentum. It's a philosophy that finds happiness not in adding, but in subtracting. Welcome to the world of financial minimalism, a lifestyle that trades clutter for clarity and values experiences far more than possessions. And at the forefront of this movement is a powerful transformative tool, the No-Buy Challenge. Today, we're diving deep into the psychology of why intentionally spending less can make you feel richer than ever before, and how you can use this knowledge to fundamentally reset your relationship with money. Our society is built on a foundation of consumerism. From the moment we wake up, we're bombarded with messages telling us that happiness, success, and fulfillment are just one purchase away. Social media influencers showcase a life of endless new products. Advertisements target our deepest insecurities, and we feel a constant nagging pressure to keep up. This culture of more, a bigger house, a newer car, the latest smartphone, often leads not to contentment, but to a heavy psychological burden. The pressure to keep up with the Joneses is a well-documented phenomenon that fuels anxiety and dissatisfaction. But today, the Joneses are not just your neighbors. They're the thousands of curated perfect lives you see on Instagram and TikTok. This constant social comparison can trigger a vicious cycle of compensatory consumption, where we buy things not because we need them, but to soothe our feelings of inadequacy or to signal a status we think we should have. On top of this, we face the paradox of choice. We believe that having more options is always better, but psychology tells us the opposite. The sheer volume of choices available for even the most minor purchases, from toothpaste to t-shirts, is mentally paralyzing. It drains our cognitive energy, leading to decision fatigue, anxiety, and a higher likelihood of regret. Every small choice we make throughout the day chips away at our ability to make sound judgments in more important areas of our lives. Financial minimalism and its practical application, the No-Buy Challenge, have emerged as a direct response to this overwhelming consumer culture. They offer a path to reclaim our mental space, reduce financial stress, and find a more authentic and sustainable form of happiness. So what exactly is financial minimalism? It's often mistaken for simple frugality or even deprivation, but its core principles are much deeper. It is not about arbitrarily cutting costs or living a life devoid of pleasure. Rather, it is the intentional alignment of your financial resources with your personal values. It's about consciously choosing to spend on what truly matters to you, while ruthlessly eliminating the rest. Let's break down its key principles. First is value-based spending. This means prioritizing your money for experiences, relationships, and items that genuinely add value and joy to your life. For one person, that might mean investing in travel and concerts. For another, it might mean buying high-quality tools for a beloved hobby. The point is, you decide what's valuable, not advertisers. Second is intentionality. This is the shift from impulsive, mindless consumption toward deliberate and thoughtful purchasing decisions. It's the pause before you click Add to Cart to ask yourself, do I truly need this? Will it make my life genuinely better? Third is simplicity. This involves reducing financial complexity. Think decluttering your recurring expenses, automating your savings and bill payments, and simplifying your banking and investment strategies so you're not managing a dozen different accounts. Fourth, and this is a big one, is contentment with enough. This is the mental shift from the endless pursuit of more to finding satisfaction and gratitude for what you already have. It's about breaking the cycle of wanting the next new thing and instead appreciating the value in your current possessions. Finally, financial minimalism is about redefining wealth. It's the understanding that true wealth isn't measured by the size of your house or the price of your car, but by things like freedom, time, strong relationships, and a life rich with purpose. Money becomes a tool to design this ideal life, rather than being the goal itself. The appeal of this lifestyle can be understood through some key psychological concepts. Let's look at the cognitive benefits first. By simplifying your financial choices and limiting consumption, you dramatically reduce decision fatigue. When you're not constantly evaluating new purchases or managing a complex budget, you free up significant mental energy. This cognitive load is lightened, allowing for better focus and clarity in other areas of your life. Minimalism also helps you overcome the paradox of choice. By pre-committing to a philosophy of less, you create a liberating framework of constraints. You eliminate the anxiety that comes with endless options. Perhaps most powerfully, it helps you develop an internal locus of control. This is a psychological term for feeling like you are in control of your own life. Instead of being a passive consumer pushed around by societal pressure and advertising, you become the active architect of your financial destiny. This fosters a profound sense of agency and empowerment. The emotional and behavioral benefits are just as significant. Minimalism is a direct counterattack on something called hedonic adaptation, also known as the hedonic treadmill. This is the human tendency for the happiness we get from new purchases to fade very quickly, leaving us seeking the next hit of dopamine from another purchase. Minimalism disrupts this cycle by encouraging you to focus on more lasting sources of fulfillment, like personal growth, hobbies, and experiences. The very act of making mindful and deliberate financial choices is also inherently satisfying. It aligns our actions with our beliefs, which is a powerful driver of self-esteem. And when you stop constantly looking for the next thing to acquire, you naturally begin to appreciate what you already have. This practice of gratitude is one of the most reliable ways to increase happiness and overall well-being. For many, however, the abstract principles of minimalism can be difficult to implement. This is where the no-buy challenge comes in. It serves as a practical, time-bound experiment that allows you to experience the benefits of mindful consumption firsthand. A no-buy challenge involves refraining from purchasing any non-essential items for a predetermined period, like a month or even a full year. The rules are personal and adaptable, but typically, you create two lists. The essentials list includes things you're allowed to buy, like groceries, toiletries, rent, and utilities. The non-essentials list is everything that's off-limits, which usually includes clothing, books, electronics, home decor, and eating out. There are also variations, like a low-buy challenge, where you set a strict budget for discretionary spending, or a category-specific challenge, like a no-buy clothing year. The key is to create rules that are challenging yet sustainable for you. But why is this so effective? A no-buy challenge acts as a powerful pattern interrupt. It forces you to break the cycle of mindless shopping and habitual spending. It creates the mental space to observe your own behavior and question the real motivations behind your purchases. You begin to uncover your spending triggers, your emotional reliance on retail therapy, and the underlying needs you are trying to meet through consumption. It's a journey of self-discovery. Embarking on a no-buy challenge is not without its difficulties, especially at first. The initial stages can feel like a form of withdrawal. Shopping, especially for something you desire, triggers the release of dopamine in the brain, creating a pleasurable high. When you remove this stimulus, you might experience boredom, restlessness, or a feeling of coming down. This is a very real sign that you may have been using shopping as a coping mechanism for other emotions. You'll also have to fight the fear of missing out, or FOMO. Seeing friends with new things or being targeted by a constant stream of ads can be incredibly difficult to resist. So, how do you succeed? The first step is to identify your triggers. Pay close attention to the situations, emotions, or even times of day that make you want to spend. Is it scrolling through Instagram late at night? Is it stress after a long day of work? Once you know your triggers, you can develop strategies to avoid or manage them. Next, find alternative coping mechanisms. If you've been using retail therapy to cope, you need healthier alternatives. This could be exercise, meditation, spending time in nature, calling a friend, or diving into a creative hobby you've neglected. Most importantly, you must connect to your why. Constantly remind yourself of your reasons for taking on the challenge. Are you saving for a down payment, trying to get out of debt, or simply seeking to reduce anxiety. A strong why is your most powerful defense against temptation. For most who persevere, there comes a turning point. The challenge shifts from a struggle to a liberation. The constant desire for more begins to fade, replaced by a sense of contentment and resourcefulness. You discover new sources of joy that don't come with a price tag, and you realize that your happiness is not dependent on what you own. A no-buy challenge is more than a temporary experiment. It's a catalyst for lasting change. By the end, you will have rewired your brain to be less impulsive and more intentional. The practice of questioning purchases and distinguishing between needs and wants becomes second nature. You move from a mindset of accumulation to one of sufficiency. You learn to value the items you already own, take better care of them, and derive more joy from them. And of course, the financial outcomes are often significant. People frequently report paying off substantial amounts of debt, building up emergency funds, or making huge progress towards long-term goals. The accelerated savings rate can even open up possibilities you never thought you had. Perhaps the most profound impact is on your mental health. Participants report reduced financial anxiety, increased contentment, and a stronger sense of self-worth that isn't tied to material things. The freedom from the constant pressure to consume creates an incredible sense of peace and clarity. So if you're feeling inspired, how do you get started? First, do a why audit. Before you change anything, understand your motivation. What are your core values? What does a rich, fulfilling life look like to you? Having a clear why is your anchor. Second, do a what audit. Track your spending for 1 month to get an honest picture of where your money is really going. This will reveal your habits and highlight areas for change. Third, design your own challenge. Start small and manageable, like a 30-day no-buy challenge. Define your rules clearly. Be realistic to set yourself up for success. Finally, embrace the journey. Focus on progress, not perfection. If you slip up, don't give up. Learn from it and keep going. The goal is not to be a perfect minimalist overnight, but to cultivate a more intentional and joyful relationship with your finances, one mindful decision at a time. The rise of financial minimalism represents a powerful antidote to the excesses of modern consumer culture. It's a movement grounded in the truth that true freedom is found not in what we own, but in how we live.